We all kind of thought hawkish, but pumping Powell was dovish. The question is, how dovish was he? September, October, December? How many cuts are we going to get? Well, market thought a lot on Friday, kind of rethinking things. We'll cover that. The price action from Friday, after hours action in the furniture sector. Do you have a furniture watch list? Well, the Brentster does. Pin duo. Let's talk China. Have we talked what's going on over there? FXI, the multi-year high. Pin duo. Baba on deck on Friday. Little company has earnings on Wednesday. I can't think of the name of it. Special guest, 8:35. Kenny hit the bid. Glick, and we got a little wrinkle for you guys today on this Monday. So wake up, get your coffee. It's pre-market prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, let's go to the screen here. Let's add the stage my charts. We're going back and forth. S&P's peeling back, down almost 16 handles, 44, 67.50, kind of in no man's land here. The buck up 20 cents, 97.80. Trying to get back from Friday's losses. TLT, well, that's not doing great. Down 39 cents at 86.66. USO flat. Off 72, but flat here at 74.64. GLD and SLV both in the red here, not by much. What is in the red is Bitcoin futures. They're down almost $6,000 at 111,265, folks. We got a little different morning for you. Triple D is under the weather, so stepping up to the plate is Money Mitch. Let's bring Money Mitch onto the stage. And Mitch, I have a very important question for you.
What's going on, guys? Good morning.
Do you have any regret paying $13 million for the Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson card?
No, not at all. Not at all. Especially you can't have two greats on one card. But definitely, I'd probably want a Kobe Bryant card myself. Kobe,
are you gonna flip it?
legend.
Are you gonna sit on this? Just put it up on your mantle?
I would just sit on it. That's like a give to the kids kind of thing. Give it to the twins. Tell them about Mamba. Tell them about the Mamba mentality. I hope you guys are building on that Mamba mentality. Who's coming in with that Mamba mentality this week? Huh?
We got a big week, but I'm going to pull up the charts here. Let's just talk about Friday. I mean, we had our room. Our room was initially I was thinking hawkish, but going back and forth with our boy Blue, and he said no, dovish, and then boom, man, he comes and what changed? Like, what's different? We knew September was September. Brent, I think, has the Fed funds tool up there. Yeah. I mean, what do we know now that we didn't know before the speech on Friday?
Well, that I think Trump finally got to Jerome. Or at least it may seem like he might have gotten to him because he definitely opened the door, right? He opened the door to the rate cuts possibility that could be coming. I think there was some hints, though, about inflation also coming too. You know, he gave a little bit of both sides, but what is the percentage in the CME Fed tool telling us, Brent?
So we got a chance of at least a 25 basis cut. Now 83% right after we got the Fed comments. I think it was right around 10 a.m. on Friday. We got the statement and Powell was speaking within like the next 15 minutes after that. Right after we got the statement, this was over 91%. As far as I can remember, chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So these odds have definitely gone down. Let's click over to October here real quick. An 8% chance of no rate cut by October. Let's see what the end of the year chance is. A 2% chance by the end of the year that there is no rate cut. So I think it's important to say here, there is still a chance of no rate cut despite what we got on Friday. And my quick my quick recap of what we got on Friday would be the Fed statement, which is important to consider here. That statement that the Fed released before Jay Powell started speaking had, in this order, in the chronology of the paragraphs, first was concerns with the job market. Second was concerns with GDP slowing. Third was inflation. So just right there, I think you're leaning dovishly. However, when Jay Powell got on and started speaking, in my opinion, he himself was less dovish and a little bit more hawkish. I think the situation here is that the Fed overall is more dovish. Maybe Jay Powell is still a little hawkish.
Yeah, it shows the descent there. I think another thing that was important was signaling that it could go towards more of a neutral rate, right, than an actual supportive. So that if they were to cut, how much are they going to cut? That telling us that maybe we get a quarter point. I don't even think a half point in September. And so looking further down the line, is this just going to be one cut this year? Right? Because they're still pricing in multiple cuts, right? At least from what the CME Fed tool is pointing towards.
Yeah, I'm looking at December right now, and there is a 33% chance of a full percentage point rate cut by December. So there you go.
Just keep in mind, and we can cover some other things here, but man, you got a lot of data coming out between now and that
True.
Fed meeting in mid-September. We still got PCE, right? Then we have the
PCE at the
jobs
end of this month,
right?
jobs,
And then
yep.
we have the PPI and the CPI out there. So he
Yep.
bought bought a little time. They off to the races. When that statement was released, and then I think I concur with you. But the market always looking for a catalyst here, and right there, it wasn't priced in. A Duffin speech was not priced in. We'll see if it got overpriced in. So that's a look.
Trade
Friday.
ideas off of this, I think, are important, though, just to kind of know a couple areas to kind of keep watch, right? Dennis mentioned them on Friday, the interest-sensitive rate areas, right? Like housing and things like that. Take a look at NAIL, NIL, right? This is the leverage home builders and suppliers. Of course, you guys can take a look at the non-leveraged way, but this really got hot there, right, on Friday. And this is a telling sign. Look at the amount of volume that loaded in there, right? Like it's a big jump in volume. Now we're really starting to look towards more of that rate cut sensitive kind of area. And you could, of course, take a look at your residential construction names like your Toll Brothers, or maybe you're into builders First Source, right? Building material names. This is definitely a trade that we can maybe look at. I know Zillow has been hot. Look at that big push. This is going to help that open continue
I got
higher
back. I got
too.
over 5 on Friday. Yeah, it did.
So
And a stock we've been talking about for a long time definitely needs lower rates. Rocket
Rocket,
had one
Yep.
heck
And
of a
then,
day.
of course, it's also going to affect healthcare names, XBI getting a nice little lift there. So we can keep an eye out on these names to see how they're affected. And then, of course, IWM, small caps. All right. I mean, we were looking at this as this pullback. It was looking prime off this 225. Now we're starting to get the lift to 235. I think this is something that can really finally start to adjust here. So, of course, we've been seeing that, at least in the COT data, how big longs have been in the Qs, and the IWM outperforming the Qs last week. I think it's a massive sign to look at to see if we could continue to rally from the IWM.
I think Scotty B. Powell was not being harsh. He caught people off sides, but he wasn't that super dovish. So that's a good way to put a bow on it. So an interesting Friday afternoon in the STN room, right? What do you need on a Friday afternoon? You need a little bit of news. Trump, he was working after hours. Brent, what do you have for us?
All right, one sec. Let me pull this up, Joel. I'll share my screen. We'll look at the truth that Donald Trump sent that got the furniture
Nice.
stocks moving on Friday. Yes, you heard it right, folks. We had a busy Friday afternoon in the furniture space. The Trump truth here. I am pleased to announce that we are doing a major tariff investigation on furniture coming into the United States. Within the next 50 days, that investigation will be completed, and furniture coming from other countries into the U.S. will be tariffed at a rate yet to be determined. Here, believe it or not, is an important part that prompted some of the price action on Friday. This will bring the furniture business back to North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, and states all across the union. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I singled out the states there because we do have a couple clear furniture producers, like pure play furniture producers in Michigan. We have Lazy Boy, which is a Monroe, Michigan company, and we also have the old Herman Miller, which is now merged with Knoll. It's MLKN Miller Knoll, and this is a Grand Rapids, Michigan company. Want me to keep going on a little furniture watch list here, Joel?
We've got to get. We'll first start with your furniture watch list winners, and then we got some losers.
Okay, I'm going to put your charts back on the stage, Joel, so we can take a look at the charts. So the winners, as far as I haven't looked this morning, I haven't had a chance to look this morning, but as far as Friday, our couple winners were the Michigan names, Lazy Boy and the former Herman Miller. And then our decliners, and I think it makes sense, we have three notable decliners here. We have Wayfair, ticker W. We have Williams Sonoma, WSM, and we have RH, which is, of course, ticker RH. Why do we think that these three names specifically move lower? I'm asking, this is the softball question here, folks.
They're the ones that import the most.
There you go.
Sirree.
There you go.
And the ones that are going to be affected on their margins, right? I mean, that's where you're going to kind of be watching for. And I have a really quick outlook on that outlook, at least for those stocks. Here's Wayfair's margins around 30.3 right now. So we can kind of keep an eye out to see their next report, to see how they kind of report. If you look at RH is in the 44.5, but it's already been going down since 23. So that's not a good sign for them. They're definitely going to be pressured as their margins are already on a down slope, right? Wayfair on an up move, that's at least a little bit better, right? Then you look at Williams Sonoma, and you can see they're up at 46.3. So if there's any of them that are going to be able to handle a little bit of some tariff pressure, it's WSM. Right? Because they make so much money on each product, right? So they're willing to give up some margins there. Yeah, they'll still pass it down, I'm sure, on the cost.
Sure.
But if you take a look at Lazy Boy, that's like a 43.8. So it's been also on a rising trend. So that's actually really good for them. They're going to have an ability to maybe start pressuring and try to push on growth, because if this is going to help them, right, and going to hurt the others, they have the margins there to play and maybe start pushing to try to get their names out there a little bit more. Anybody has a Lazy Boy in the chat?
No.
Throw it out there.
That's a good question, Mitch. Dennis and I on Friday were kind of looking at this as like, okay, we got the news. We like went over and considered potential stocks moving on this furniture names. We didn't really know how to digest, even after we had, I think, as much of the information as we could as far as the news item. We weren't sure how to interpret the news. We didn't know, like, if the ones that were going to be more sensitive to this news item was related to like getting their materials from within or without the US. We didn't understand if it was like, just strictly looking at sales. So I did a little bit of really quick analysis on Friday and found that Lazy Boy has over 90% of their sales that are coming from within the United States. Our other Michigan name, Miller Knoll, that had like 70% of its sales coming from within the US. So just a little color there on, why some of this sensitivity might happen a little bit deeper. We understand why it might have happened, but just to dive into a little bit of that research, I think that's kind of like how you want to do a little bit of this research. If people are still researching this from over the weekend, I think look at where sales are generated from.
All right, good rundown. Let's I'll do some quick technicals here. I'll run through the stocks that I have, and then Mitch, if something pops out to you.
Yeah.
We talk about the importance of price action on earnings day. Not great earnings out of Lazy Boy, my hometown, Monroe, Michigan. You had the lower open, but they bought the dip. So if you're buying, if you're buying this based on the tariffs, keep in mind they did not have good earnings. You did get some follow through. You're into the gap area. Are you above? I don't even think. Yeah, you're above Friday's high. I think longer term with this, I mean, the gap coincides with the 50-day. So I think you have to after that bad report, a lot of people getting their money back. So I'm going to look at this $38 level right below it, the 50-day moving average. That's major resistance from now. If you're looking for a pullback, maybe you get up, you do a little 50% retracement. But short-term boosts for Lazy Boy, another Michigan company, Herman Miller, trading up here. That is strong. That's on 50 cents, above the high from Friday. Once again, a stock that has been in a long-term downtrend. Let me give you your next monthly high. Next monthly high doesn't come in. Well, you got some potential resistance. I see two monthly highs. Let's call it 23.30. Mitch, you wanna comment on either of those?
I think what I'd be watching in these is just to see if it just comes right back into play. Remember that the big boys taking that hit down. Yes, it does affect them. But when someone's going to go search for furniture today, they're not going to search Lazy Boy. I'm sorry, guys. They're going to go to Wayfair regardless if the tariffs are out there or they're not. So I would think this is a headline that, yes, it could pull them back a little bit, but it's not going to be a big hit towards these bigger stocks on the long run. If anything, you just definitely RH is not anything that's been sexy. Wayfair, though, has had a huge run, though. So if anything, this does give it the opportunity to now give the pullback. I mean, we're talking a 249% run. So now where could this go back to? At least from my look, if I do it from just from the bottom to the top, 50% retracement puts it closer to like 51. So that's a big haircut if it's going to go back to 51. So if anything, maybe a short on Wayfair today is a potential play. Only thing is, of course, you've already faded a good amount. So I need at least a comeback towards 72 or 74 for me to play it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you're going to get to the yesterday's bottom range. 75.47, just sitting the initial spike low. The only thing I could say for the bulls out there is the after hour stopped. We talk about half and whole numbers. Stopped right at 70, got a bounce to 74, Mitch. So, whoo, that was, things kind of lighten up. I think you would have had to been up closer to 8 o'clock to get that. But you're right back on the lows of the pre-market session. I don't see much at 70. 70's right here. The next, I think these are the levels that may come into play today. You have a gap fill to take a look at between 68.20 and 65.41. So I'll throw potential support 68.20, then the gap fill at 65.41. If you're trying to short this thing or play a bounce or whatever, drill down on your lower your shorter term charts. But right now, not too far off the lows of the pre-market sessions. Billy Sonoma. That is that's taking a hit. That's down 850. That is substantially off its pre-market low, or your after hours low. Come in at 189.89. So let's see if you find some filler ahead of that. Not much on the dailies. A little gap fill on that one, actually, 189.45. Coming back on the upside. A lot of these stocks here, 197.61. So that is close to maybe a gap fill. We'll see if we can get to the low of yesterday's range. RH, how we doing? RH down 20 sticks. Off the lows of the pre-market session at 220. What a weird looking chart here. I mean, this has rallied since April. But I mean, compared to some other stocks, well, I guess it's pretty good on a percentage basis. Maybe this one you could sit back and wait for that 50-day moving average eventually here at 206.65. So, did we miss any furniture stocks here?
There's a few more, but I mean, those are kind of the ones that we want on our radar here for today. I have a little furniture watch list with more stocks if things start getting hairy in furniture land, but maybe we'll only pull up the rest of the stocks if we do have
we'll save that for the of course stock market network there.
Yep.
Absolutely. We do have a little bit of a breaking headline here from National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett saying breaking news saying it's possible the government could take more equity stakes from firms. He was discussing the CHIPS Act when he said that. I can't tell. I wasn't listening to him. I'm just seeing the headline from Bloomberg. So I can't tell if he was specifically saying that it's possible the government takes more equity stakes in chip companies, or this was just speaking generally. I don't really see anything responding to it right now. Chat, if you see anything that you think might have moved on that headline, let us know. But I think
this is a big step, guys. All right. I mean, this is something that China has done in the past for a long time. We're taking a note. Yeah, we're taking a note from China here. And I think this was massive that when it first started with MP, right? This is why I used to always watch LI in China EV, because they have a huge stake. The government has a huge stake in it. And moments like that are changing, right? It's a different landscape. We haven't seen the US really take this kind of approach in the past. And some could say that, I don't know, is this more a different type of government? Because taking stakes in companies is a little bit pushy. That's why you saw quickly Trump mentioning how we're not on the board, we're not going to make them do different decisions and stuff like that. But I think this really opens a door for more of this, right? Whether it be for rare earths, whether it be for AI. And this itself could be a new way to also try to kind of bring AI chips to kind of honing into here in the US, right? Well, you got to take stake in these companies, and then pretty much at that point you can strong arm them a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably debate for the next hour or so where this comes in on the political spectrum, and
it's interesting.
Of course, we won't do that. Let's just the price action here. Let's go to Intel real quick. Caught the nice bid on Friday, getting some follow through today. Up 50 cents. Recent high of the move is 26.53. We're over $1 away from that high close of the move, folks. That's what I'd be focusing on today. That comes in on the same day that it hit 26.53. That comes in at 25.31. That's currently where we're trading right now. So let's see how Intel reacts to the news. But hey, Mitch, it's not just about U.S. markets. You brought a little bit of China in there.
Yeah.
Have you seen what this pin duo is doing this morning?
All I gotta say is, I guess the wife got back on Temu, so got to go block that account right there.
Oh my gosh. Pinduoduo PDD with a quarterly beat, $3.08 versus about a 2-cent estimate. Sales coming in at 14.52 billion, a beat versus the 14.35 billion estimate. Shares trading up this morning.
Oh, this thing has been all over the map, Brunster.
Not anymore. Is it not positive anymore? Under
it still is, but I mean, it hit 141.99.
Yeah, it's the classic China move, right? It's just it's because they don't trade right here. I mean, this is how they do it to you. They make it look really good, and you got to buy it on the dump. If you're gonna buy these China names, a lot of the times, because they gap away, right? They're big gappers, right? Look at the chart. Now you have a gap from 120. That's when buyers really started to come in here on Thursday last week.
Yeah,
true.
So that's the hard part now. Now you're getting sold into, right? And that's the hardest part of jumping into this trade.
Even though Dennis is not here, we could use a statement of his. If you're buying this up 15, $16 in the pre-market, you're doing it wrong. And what a rug pull. We came back. We went red here, Brentster. We went under 126 at one point. We're back up at 129.15. I think right now I'm just going to have to throw out the high, throw out the low, and look at Friday's price action. And Friday's price action, to me, there's two levels. Oh, wow. You dipped under 126, and Friday's low was 125.82. Well, what do you think about that? There's your good. That area and the close at 127.11, that's what you got to hold for Pinduoduo to recover here, to get back up. To Friday's high, we'll bring that into play. Where's Friday's high? Make sure they're saying 129. We're trading right there. So despite all the fluctuations, you're kind of still, if you just throw out the pre-market after hours and stuff, you can look at this stock and say, hey, I'm going to trade this off Friday's range. Mitch, how's the rest of China looking to you?
I think this is a trade that is being forgotten. We talked about it on Friday on the Stock Trader Network, specifically about how China was being a forgotten trade here. And if you look at the FXI, and Joel, just take a look at that monthly chart and tell me, what are you seeing there? Because I know that you're like me. That monthly chart looks prime here as it's been building and building. Even though we had a correction, this doesn't look like it had anything to do with that.
The monthlies are the monthlies, right? The dailies, the weeklies, the monthlies. You're at monthly resistance here, but not only from the last 2 months where you stalled right around 39 a quarter, right where you're currently trading, but you have to go back all the way back to early 2022, I believe, and you were back up at this level. You had a high of 38.90 1 month, and then January of 22, back in the good old days, 39.78. So I mean, you can pick your poison at 39 handle. What you like to see when stocks come up to these monthly levels is you want it to build a base. Like, can we build a base at 37.5? Can we build a base at 38? Something where buyers are now really forced to step up their bids and push it. 40 is a huge psychological level too. But whatever's going on in tariff land here, China market strong. And where we have Baba reacted to this. We have earnings from Baba on Friday. That perked up. That's actually holding up better than Pinduoduo. You just hit 128 and change in the pre-market. So we'll see if you can get some follow through from the pre-market action. What about Baidu? Is Baidu still under 100?
Why even look at specific names? Why not look at a beautiful chart like there is in CWeb? Ooh, look at this. Look at this chart, guys. This is as pretty as it gets. Really nice levels. This has been going since pretty much 24. We've had a couple of push to the upsides, couple of dumps, and just recently we went up there in August, then pulled back. Now we're starting to really consolidate right at that trend line. Breaking away from that gives me the ability now to either look for a pullback, throwback look to 46, or look for this to really get going. And this is the internet bulls together. So we know they're very kind of, their valuations are not, rosy like they are here. They have room to really grow. And I think that this is a trade that is being misjudged here. It's actually, overall, if you look at the monthlies, this looks as pretty as it gets. And now with Trump playing nice and playing really nice about AI with China, this is going to give China the ability to work more of the trade deal, but also continue to grow, which is what China's been trying to do. They've been trying to get out of the dumpster fire. And now it seems like while everyone's looking at because of the tariff situation and the rate cuts, now China is really starting to take off. So don't lose track of that. And China EV also, NIO, really continuing to rip. This is also has to do with what's going on, right? And Elon is losing share in EVs in China quarterly right now. And that's not going to help him, right? There's other ones here that look also, maybe LI can start to get going, but XPEV also the other one that's doing really well in the China EVs. So I'd be watching for these to kind of continue their hot path. They're definitely getting the move.
Big week coming up. Earnings. What's that little company that reports on Wednesday, Brent?
It's NVIDIA.
Hold on, where's my leather jacket?
On
I should have grabbed my leather jacket for this, man.
So for today, PDD was kind of really the only one that was on our radar. Pinduoduo. Tomorrow we get Okta, Wolf, MongoDB. We get Box, and we're kind of kicking off the apparel and retail earnings season this week on Tuesday with PVH. On Wednesday is kind of our big day. We're getting NVIDIA after the close. We're also getting Snowflake. We're also getting CrowdStrike. We're also getting HPQ. We are getting a ton of retail and apparel names. We got Williams-Sonoma. We got Vera Bradley, Kohl's, Five Below, Guess, Urban Outfitters, Abercrombie and Fitch, all on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to get Marvell, Sentinel One, that's ticker S, Affirm, Dick's, Dell, Best Buy, and I'm going quick. Joel, you can go back to the charts in just a sec. I got a few more here. Thursday, Dollar General, Ulta Beauty, Ollie's Bargain Bin, Burlington Stores, BURL, a bunch of retail, a bunch of apparel, and then Friday, as we mentioned, we get Alibaba. We also get Jinko Solar, JKS, a nice non-US solar play for you. What were some of the highlights there, Joel or Mitch? Which ones did you want to take a look at the chart? I see you looking at something on your screen behind the scenes Mitch.
He's whipping up something for us. What do you got for us?
Let's take a look here, guys. So there's about three things that I'd point at here, right? So the blue line here, guys, that's going to be your total revenue, right? We've seen total revenues just completely take off, right? That's what kept the attractiveness of this stock as it was going higher. Now, one of the things that I think you guys should really focus on is the gross margins, right? The gross profit margins took off. They got as high as 75%, but on the last quarter, we finally started seeing the drop. It went to 70%. So if we start to see the margins start to go down towards 60 and 50, that could also show us how, yes, they're still being able to make more money, but not as much. And so that just kind of slows down the pace that they're on. Now you also have here the earnings per share. That's another thing to look at here, as the earnings per share have really taken off, guys. You're at 3.1. So if you continue to see the earnings per share just take off, that's another way to continue to just beat the expectations. So of course we could look at things like cloud and certain KPIs. So look forward to seeing more charts like this. I want to kind of continue bringing charts like this to pre-market prep so that you guys can really see how things are really kind of developing in the company, right? There's a reason why NVIDIA is so loved. I mean, they used to be in the 60s, and when you go to the 70s with that much revenue increase, right? So you're making more money per dollar and you're going higher and doubling and tripling your revenue. Well, yeah, that's how you do that type of NVIDIA move. But this is something that I'd point to. This is another reason why I'm watching AMD, because I'm expecting some kind of revenue increase like we've seen here.
All right, Mitch, where are you pulling that information from?
This is Fiscal AI, and I really like the way they do really good financials. So this is fundamental data, of course. So anybody likes fundamental data, definitely look into it. I'm going to be trying to bring this more into pre-market prep so that, when Dennis goes that they're making less and yelling at you about Tesla, well, we can actually show it, the graphical representation here. So look for more of that, guys. What do you guys think of that? Fiscal AI.
Sweet.
Yes, John,
I like
it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And we can bring in other information too, like this, and I think this is important. You can get this from Benzinga's calendar or an earnings hub. EPS has beat the last 15 out of the 17 quarters on EPS for NVIDIA. And then when you look at revenues, 16 out of the 17. So what does that tell us? Probability, they still beat, right? I mean, they just continuously beat their mark. So I think it's also going to depend on how the feeling of the market goes that day, right? Because we just went through a little bit of a lull. Then we had this little bit of a rally on Friday. Let's see when we get towards the end of Wednesday, how the market's feeling.
All right, we're going to go to our guest here in just 1 second. I'm going to pull up. I don't even know if I needed to pull it up. I'm just looking at this chart here, and something just jumps out to me, and it's 180. You can talk about, daily highs and daily lows and closes and moving averages. To me, I just look how long it held that 180 level, tight range, consolidated, and then we had a little bit of a rough market. But I think that's where the interest is. I mean, this thing holds 180 with a solid bid. Well, 200. If not, then, we resistance. But I'm just looking at that consolidation. Couple days before the report, we'll get the straddle price closer to that. But with no further ado, we're going to let you go, Mitch. Mitch, thanks for stepping up to the plate here.
Hey,
Money
time
Mitch
to get to
on a
trading.
Monday. This could be a new thing, but, man, we got to keep the show rolling with perhaps everyone's favorite guest.
Hit the pin.
Good morning, Kenny Glick. Everyone knows him. Hit the bid. Our VWAP expert. Kenny, how was the weekend?
Pretty good. Karaoke dance party with
yeah, I did. I cut some rug at a wedding on Saturday too. I'm telling you, man, my feet were a little bit sore.
nice.
First of all, to start you out, get you in a little bit of a bad mood. How are the Jets going to do this year?
I haven't put the under in yet, but I just, I'll be taking the under. But the Giants look exciting. So I'm not a Giant hater. I like the Giants. So big fan of Dart. He was lighting up the UGA team. So
Okay.
I'm more familiar with college football than ever now. I know you love your college football. So
Okay.
go Dogs.
All right. Now I know that you trade your VWAP. I know you follow the markets. I know you follow the news, and you didn't really care what Powell had to say. You were going to trade your VWAP, but I wanna get into perhaps identifying reversals. There was a very big day on Friday. The Dow was up 800 points, and oh baby, right back euphoria. Being a little bit of a fader I am here, I can say, well, if we don't foul through into 6,500, if we don't hold the close, maybe we'll get a weakness. Besides your technical indicators, are there any little secrets you want to give us when, look at maybe that Friday reversal on a Monday?
Well, I think Friday was just an anomaly. Actually, it was people got caught on the wrong side. The shorts got squeezed, and then we sat around and did nothing. I didn't like that action at all. It was a kind of a terrible day. As a matter of fact, I cut out early because you could see what was going to happen. You got that monstrous move. Everybody had to cover their shorts, and then we went sideways. So I didn't put too much.
Okay.
I'm not too concerned about it. I'm going right back to just sticking with the individual stocks. And you know what?
Okay.
My best trade on Friday was a short. So, and again, I sat there, I waited for the market to come back. And I thought maybe we get a little give back of that monstrous move from the Powell speech, but never happened. But I'll show you a chart.
Yeah, set it up for us in the follow.
Yeah, this is hold on a second. Hopefully I get this going right quickly with you. So, and again, I'll show you one from today and one from Friday. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Newegg.
Yes.
I don't know why this isn't a bigger story. I don't know if you guys have been watching this thing. This is a $3 stock. And again, if you guys know about one of my favorite chart patterns, it's called the Andy Dufresne. And I love being a bear because these are bear market trends, but it's when they come out of the bear market. So stocks that collapse and then go sideways, we call it the Andy Dufresne. It's going sideways through the muck. But when it comes out of Andy Dufresne, when it comes out of that sewer pipe and runs to say Wataneo with his buddy, Morgan Freeman, my friend Andy, they run. And we were in this stock maybe, what was it, a couple of months ago, and we're trading it coming out of the Andy Dufresne around $6, and it went to like $16, $17. And I completely forgot about this stock's existence because usually they get pumped and they get dumped, and we forget them. This one went to $137. So on Friday, it caught my eye, and I was like, you know what? I got to sit here and wait for a reason to short this. And wow, So what we look at right here, if you see in this chart,
Yep.
this is what we call the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. So the blue line is the day's VWAP, and prior day VWAP is the orange line. And since I've been doing this trade pretty much exclusively since 2012, if you get momentum through today's VWAP and prior day VWAP, more often than not, and roughly around 90% of the time, you're going to get a profitable trade in that direction. And what a doozy it was. It gave back 30 points while the market was, stable and, kind of ripping higher after Powell. This thing didn't care about anything. It just got absolutely hammered. And that was my one trade for the day. And then I just sat around, waiting for BJ to come off the carpet, and this never did. And, and then I just shut the day down. But today, I go right back to the source, and there's only one stock to trade as far as I'm concerned. It's PDD, and it's the same type of scenario. So Chinese stock reports earnings. There's the monstrous move. There's the break of the VWAP, and then a double bottom rolls over through that double bottom. That's where we're short right here. So it's a VWAP break and a range break, and then look where it went, down to the orange line. So blue line to orange line on earnings reports. This trade has been working, Joel. It doesn't really make any sense, but it works almost every time it shows up. It's a very specific trade. We're just looking to revert the VWAP or gap fade through VWAP to prior day VWAP, and it's been exquisite.
So you're looking for that confluence, right, from the previous day's price action to the current one. Yeah, that thing. Did you know the thing almost hit 142? And you got it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you'll see. I mean, this is exactly what we do. So it's just, you're basically fading the gap. If you're not fading, you're not trading. We would look to fade this gap anyway. This gap fading strategy has been around forever. You're looking for profit taking on the big gap or people that already own the stock. But with VWAP, it's basically giving you the confirmation that the fade is going to continue. And then when you have prior day VWAP down there, you kind of have a target. And you'll see how it hit it to the penny down here, right on that first attempt to move down. And then you get right back to it. And, that meat in the middle right there, it's enough to make a living. And that's pretty much what we do.
I think, isn't Martin Shkreli picking on this one too?
Is he? I don't know. That guy's still around. I thought he was in prison.
No. Oh boy, you get it, Ken. Obviously, you're not on Twitter a ton, neither am I. But he basically sits there all day long by himself with his charts up, talking about and occasionally talking about different stocks. And
Wow.
So I know he was out there putting a hit piece on, I believe it was on Newegg, and this is something that we've talked about here. I know you like to trade the news, and I know that you have a great catalyst in Mr. Trump, so you weren't around on Friday when they were talking on furniture tariffs, but I'd like to could you take a look at Wayfair for us? W is the symbol, trading down 659. Basically, Trump's going to try and defend the U.S. furniture makers, tariffs on imports here. What is the VWAP saying to us about Wayfair?
Well, I've never been a fan of this stock. But man, what a tremendous move since the Trump scandal in April. But as far as, it looks like it had a nice day on Friday. I guess that was part of the news. This is,
No, they came out after hours.
Okay.
The day on today, Friday, and then Trump came in and said, "Kapowie!" It's hitting William Snow to RH2. So
okay, for something that's got, if there's news surrounding Wayfair, there is no volume on the stock whatsoever. So I don't really trade stocks when there's no volume. I'll wait to see some volume come in, but again, just looking at this chart, when you got dots and specks on it, that's telling you that it's just there's no flow here. But back below yesterday's lows, I guess Friday's aftermarket lows, if this thing's below 70, it'll just resume its course. I am not a fan. I actually despise this company. I hate this stock. I hate everything about it. But they have the greatest business model, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Order some furniture. It won't show up. Complain. They'll send you money back. And then suddenly the furniture shows up anyway. It's free. So that's happened to me twice. Well done, Wayfair. Thank you for my backyard outdoor furniture for absolutely nothing. It's garbage, but anyway, it's just the worst business model ever. I don't know how this company even survives.
What about earnings. I know you love to trade earnings, and
Yeah.
we got a big one. I mean, not much going on earlier in the week, but Nvidia, it's been a monster stock. The whole world will start hearing about it on CNBC like tomorrow and all the way through. The whole world is waiting on Nvidia earnings. I just pulled up the chart. I looked at the 180 level. I know you say, hey, you get to 150, you go into 200. Is there anything, a little bit longer term? I know you look at charts a little bit longer term as well. How's NVIDIA looking to you going into their big report?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a nothing burger like the last 3 quarters. Everyone's going to get burned buying puts and buying calls. The only one that's going to make any money is this premium, the sellers of premium. I think everything's baked in. I mean, the stock has now had 120% run in the last 3 months, along with the market. So what could they possibly say that's going to make this thing pop? I don't know. I'm looking for it to be basically a nothing burger. So, if it goes sideways, big fan. Who's not, right? I mean, this is one of the best companies you could possibly own. But to me, NVIDIA is the QQQ. So I trade the Qs more than NVIDIA. So as NVIDIA goes, so goes the Qs. And we finally saw some sellers show up last week, Joel. It was amazing, right? Lasted for like 4 hours. Crazy times, right?
Yeah, Hayes is throwing in here to sell straddles. Well, I mean, you can sell them. You also can find ways to mitigate the loss if they go crazy. But we'll check that straddle price tomorrow and then also we could check it on Wednesday. What's going on in your opinion? Bitcoin down 5,500 today. Ethereum busting out on Friday, giving it back here. Will Bitcoin ever see 5 digits again?
Listen, I mean, anything's possible, but I think you're going to be seeing 7 digits sooner or later, and, with Bitcoin, with the whole finite amount of it, at least it makes sense. It was explained to me, inevitably there's going to be a friend of mine just basically quit the industry. He was a hedge fund manager and just went right into crypto. And it was surprising to me, but the way he explained it, he's like, there's going to be a finite amount. Just imagine everybody in the world continues to want some, and there's not going to be enough around. It's going to, he thinks 2 to 5 million on Bitcoin. And he convinced me to stay in it. So far, so good. Can it crash again? Sure. Anything can crash, but it's not going to, if it goes over 250,000, you're probably going 1 million. And, again, I guess that's what stop losses are for, right? At 500,000, I'll start lightening up. But, if it goes back down under 120, sometimes you'll get that move back to 80. I don't know. I'm in the same exact position I was in 2017, the same crypto that I bought back then. I'm still in the Ripple, the Tron, the doggy coin and the Bitcoin. So I don't even look. I just
sometimes that's the best thing to do.
We're gonna be putting out our own coins soon, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll let you know when it's done. So far, my first venture into SPACs has worked. So we got a SPAC. It's a very limited float. I don't even want to talk about it on the show, but it's gone from 10 to 40 so far, and it's a film company that's put out a couple of films already. So pretty exciting.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. So
yeah, so far so good. They went to $40 on 2,000 shares of volume. So it's pretty crazy.
You gotta be careful in that one.
Yeah.
Trade by appointment only. All right, Kenny. I always appreciate you coming on the show, being very consistent in your analysis with your VWAP. Adding a little humor. Also getting to make fun of us a little bit. We always enjoy it. We know you got a busy day. Kenny Glick, hitthebid.com. You can get more of his VWAP trading there. Kenny, always a pleasure. Hope to see you in a couple of weeks.
Good luck, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Kenny. All right. Here we are, Brunster. A little quiet pre-market trading. We are off the lows of the session, 64, 60, 75. I wish I could say I got a good level for you in here, but the way we were ramped up. Hey, look at that Pinto Duo down. Oh, getting crushed. Way to go, Kenny. Now it's down almost $5. What a reversal in that pin duo just after Kenny leaves us. All right, Brettster, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We do have a little breaking news. We do have a little merger Monday. We got shares of Variant, Victor Romeo, November Tango, VRNT. Stock was halted right at 8:30, around 8:40. We got a press release from the company, Thoma Bravo, later confirming with their own press release. Variant is going to be taken private by Thoma Bravo in a $2 billion deal. This is going to be $20.50 per share in cash. Let me see where the stock is trading right now.
It's got to be
trading at $23. Let me see what else is going on.
Got to be something under
per
the
share
hood here.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's do some
Under
digging.
the terms of the deal, Variant common shareholders will receive $20.50 per share in cash, an 18% premium to Variant's 10-day volume weighted average share price as of up to June 25th. 2025. So an 18% premium there on Variant. They are loving the deal. Maybe if we're looking at the price action, Joel, I feel like you would say that maybe investors are hinting that there could be something further than Thoma Bravo.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know. I don't know how likely that would be. Usually when a company goes private, that's kind of it. Like there's not a ton of battling back and forth when there's like a go private offer, but I don't know. It seems like the market's saying there could be some more here.
And there's nothing else attached to the deal, huh?
No, it didn't look like it. Yeah, I took a quick glance while I was speaking there, but it seemed like it was just $20.50 per share in cash. Yeah.
Maybe someone I don't know. Maybe someone put. I mean, even if you say that the 25 was ridiculous,
yeah,
it's still trading at 23. So either there's something that we're missing here as far as what part of the deal, or the street is saying no. Well, no, this is worth more than $20.50. So that's it. Be careful.
Oh yeah, it's not trading right now. All this price action was before we got confirmation of the news. Thanks for saying that, Carmen. Like, duh. I just said that the stock was halted. So let me see when we're gonna get a resume time on it. Variant, we should get a resume it's gonna open for quote in 3 minutes at 8:55 a.m. and we're gonna get Variant resuming at 9 a.m. The other deal to touch on here real quick on our merger Monday, Keurig Dr. Pepper, KDP is going to buy the old, as far as I know, Peet's Coffee. You know that company, Joe? P-E-E-T, like
is
Peet's?
Is that still around?
I didn't know it was, but
Yeah,
it's called JDE Peet's now. It actually trades in
the pink
it changes on the Euronext exchange, JDEP.
Okay. Wow, they don't like this for Dr. Pepper. That's all I can say.
Not at all.
Nope.
Not at all.
Looking at the acquirer here, down to $32. What a lazy chart for this thing. I mean, it traded between 30 and 40 since 2021.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I'm also not that surprised. It's a sleepy company too, right? Sleepy chart for a sleepy company. What more do you want?
I'd like to see this come into 30. I mean, if I was shorted, I'd look at that. It's not there yet. You got a step down seller here on the lows of the pre-market session, giving back a lot of gains here. I guess a little bit shorter term here. This 3250 area was important. I was looking at the monthlies when I referred to it. So see if you catch a bid here. Got to get back above 3250. But going back, the low for the year here in Dr. Pepper is 30.12. So those are the two merger or takeouts. I just wanted to go back to Variant real quick and look at some of the peers. Some of the peers of stocks I really don't know anything about. Ramp, RAMP, Ramp Live Ramp Holdings is considered a peer. Porch Group, PRCH. Let's see if that's reacting. That's trading up a couple pennies. That's not a bad looking chart here. So that's trading up. OLO going deep into the war chest here. Looks like there's something going on with that one. Looks like it might be already being acquired. And then the final one, LSPD, Lightspeed, POS. I don't know if you ever want that on your name of your company, but not much reaction here in the pre-market to this deal. If this thing opens at 20, I mean, if it opens down to 2050, there's going to be some people that are not going to be too happy about that.
I mean, that's why it's called buy the rumor, sell the news, right?
Yep. There you go. There you go.
A couple ratings here. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left in the show, Joel. A couple ratings. We kind of like to end on ratings if we can help it. Sell side research. I love the ratings where you get a firm, an analyst, upgrading one name in the space and downgrading another name in the space.
You like those?
I like those. Yeah, I don't know. It just creates a little separation for me. We had Raymond James here this morning on the airlines upgrading Alaska Air, ALK, to the equivalent of a buy. That's an outperform rating. And they downgraded American away from the equivalent of a buy. That's now a market perform rating. Any price action of note in Alaska or American, Joel?
Oh boy. I'm looking at this American, and it's had a great day on Friday, pulling back a little bit. So let's see if we can regain unchanged here. I mean, you've had some other big moves in the airlines, but not so much American. So I don't mind them picking on them. We'll see. Once again, if you're shrugging this off, you want to see this get green and then test the high from Friday. Actually closed right near the high of the session. So you got a great level, 1355, 1358. Those are the two highs. If the bulls are just going to shrug this off or get green and try and get back to that $14 area, haven't been there since March. Alaska Airlines here trading up 65 cents. 65 cents. Been slow and steady here. You always want to get follow through the pre-market high. Pre-market high comes in at 60.67. And things get kind of thin here. You cut through 65 to 60 in only 2 days. And in 3 days, you cut down to 55. So getting an area where some people are getting their money back.
One more here for you, Joel, on the downgrade side of things. Bank of America downgrading American Eagle, AEO, to their equivalent of a sell rating and underperform rating. AEO stock here this morning indicated down a good 50 cents or so.
Okay, so AEO, American Eagle Outfitters, riding that Sydney Sweeney jeans commercial. Am I correct on that?
I think so, Joel. Yeah, I think so.
I know, and we've had some people in the STN room trying to pick a top in this one, saying this won't last. I did see, I don't know what I was mindless scrolling through, but like she's like booked for like gigs now for like she said if she wanted to, she could be booked now for the next 2 or 3 years. That's what I
believe it.
So you get the downgrade in a stock that had a great day on Friday. So that's not good for the bulls that went with the momentum. So scratch will be important to get back to in this stock. That comes in at 1285, right near the high of the day. I think if you're a bull and you're saying, hey, this story is just getting going, AEO is back. I'd see what happens at this $12 area. Didn't quite get there yet in the pre-market. 1220 seems to be the low, but after that big green candle day back at the beginning of August, that's where the bulls have been stepping up in AEO.
Joe, real quick, we did just get some breaking news out of AbbVie. They are going to be buying a company called Gilgamesh Pharmaceuticals. This is a pretty large deal, about a $1.2 billion deal including upfront payments and development milestones. AbbVie kind of quiet here, but did just break like a few seconds ago. So just wanted to get it on everyone's radar before we wrap here on pre-market prep.
Yeah, wow. Don't call it a comeback, but look at the comeback at AbbVie. I thought, and also compared to the other
Sure.
the other
Yeah.
drug stocks. We'll see what the street thinks of this. Doesn't look like you have too much action. You've said if it's the size of the deal, there tends to be pressure on the acquirer. Right now, only trading down 4 cents. You got areas of resistance here, and I'm just going to call it this whole what were the ranges for the end of last week. Last week's, let's just keep an eye on the upside. If this is a great deal for them, the bulls are going to run with it. 212.45 was your high from last week. Interestingly, on Thursday, not on Friday. But on Friday, you did get your high close for the week at 210.60. So we'll see how the street digest this AbbVie deal coming back. All right, Benster, it's 9:00. Fun show today. Thanks for money, Mitch, for stepping up to the plate.
Absolutely.
If you're listening, I hope you feel better this morning. And tomorrow we're gonna dust off Todd Gordon, Inside Edge Capital.
Heck yeah.
Running some money out here. We'll get his micro, macro, and technical thoughts. Brent and I are going to hop into the STN room right now. Get ready for that opening on Wall Street, folks. Thanks for joining us here on Pre-Market Prep. Back with you tomorrow morning.